The night was cold, darker than usual, and the rain poured down heavily on the broken streets of the old alien district. A widowed human man named Daniel walked slowly, his two little daughters holding tightly to his hands. Their clothes were damp and their small shoes splashed in the muddy water. Daniel's heart ached. He had promised his late wife that he would protect their daughters no matter what, but now they had no proper shelter, and he was desperate to find a safe place before the storm grew worse. The girls, Anna and Lily, whispered softly, "Daddy." "We're scared," Anna said, her voice trembling. "We'll be fine," Daniel replied, forcing a gentle smile. "I'll find us a place. I promise." As they moved deeper into the ruined district, Daniel noticed a figure sitting alone near the corner of a broken wall. The figure was covered in a torn cloak, shivering in the rain. At first, Daniel thought it was just another beggar. But then, as the lightning flashed across the sky, he saw her face. It was not human. Her skin had a faint silver glow, and her eyes, large and luminous, reflected both fear and sadness. She was an alien woman. Daniel stopped. His daughters gasped softly, clinging to his arms. The alien woman looked up startled, as if she had not expected anyone to notice her. Her lips trembled. She looked weak, fragile, and yet there was something proud in her posture. She was clearly not safe here. Even Daniel, a stranger, could feel that she had been cast away, unwanted by her own kind. Lily tugged at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, she looks sad." "Like us." Daniel's heart tightened. He looked at the woman again. She avoided his gaze, pulling her cloak tighter, as though ashamed of being seen. Around them the storm roared, and distant voices of alien guards echoed in the night. This was a dangerous place for a human man and his daughters. He knew he should walk away, but something inside him refused. Daniel stepped closer. "Are you all right?" he asked carefully. The alien woman shook her head slightly. Her voice was soft, almost broken. "Go away, human. It's not safe to be near me." But Anna, the older daughter, whispered bravely, "Daddy, she's all alone. We can't just leave her." The words cut through Daniel's chest. His daughters had already lost their mother. They knew what loneliness felt like. And here, right in front of them, was someone who looked just as lost, just as unwanted. The alien woman glanced at the girls. For a moment, her cold expression softened. She saw the innocence in their eyes, their small faces wet with rain, their tiny hands holding their father tightly. A faint memory flickered in her mind, of children she once dreamed of having, of a family she could never have now. She quickly looked away as though afraid of her own feelings. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed nearby. Daniel's body stiffened. Alien guards were patrolling the district. If they found him here with his daughters, trouble would come. And if they saw this woman speaking to him, she might be punished too. Daniel looked at her one last time. He had only a few seconds to decide. His heart raced. He could leave her behind, save only his daughters. That was the safer choice. But as he saw her shivering in the rain, abandoned and unwanted, he felt the weight of his late wife's words echo in his mind. Protect them. Show them kindness even when the world is cruel. Daniel bent down to his daughters and whispered, "Stay close to me. Don't be afraid." Then he turned back to the alien woman. "My name is Daniel," he said firmly. "These are my daughters. We have no shelter tonight, and I can see you don't either." The woman's eyes widened, confused. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because," Daniel replied, his voice steady, "maybe we can help each other." She stared at him as if she had never heard such words before. Humans and aliens did not mix. And yet here was a human man offering kindness to an outcast alien woman. The rain fell harder. The girls hugged their father tightly. For a long moment, silence hung between them. Then faintly, Anna whispered to the woman, "You don't have to be alone anymore." The alien woman's heart trembled. No one had spoken to her like that in years. She looked at Daniel again. The guards' voices were getting closer. If she stayed out here, she would surely be taken away, or worse. Finally, with slow, hesitant steps, she stood up. Her cloak clung to her body, dripping with rain. She lowered her head, unable to meet Daniel's eyes, and said softly, "If you walk with me, you will also be hunted." Daniel straightened his back, determination burning in his eyes. "Then let them hunt. I will protect my daughters. And you." The woman froze. For a moment, she saw something in him she had not seen in anyone for years. Courage, honesty, and the strange strength of a man who had lost everything but still stood tall. The guard's shadows appeared at the end of the street. Daniel quickly reached out his hand. "Come with us." The alien woman hesitated, torn between fear and hope. Finally, her trembling hand reached forward and she placed it in his. At that moment, the thunder roared above them, sealing a silent promise. None of them knew what dangers tomorrow would bring. But for the first time, the alien woman was not alone. And for the first time since his wife's death, Daniel felt he had found a path forward, not just for his daughters, but for his own heart. The storm lasted all night. Daniel and his daughters found a small broken shelter on the edge of the alien district. It was nothing more than an old storage room, damp and cold, but it kept the rain away. The alien woman sat in the far corner, silent, her silver eyes lowered to the ground. Daniel sat with his daughters close to him, watching her carefully. For hours, only the sound of rain filled the air. The girls were tired, but their young hearts carried no fear of her. They whispered to each other, sometimes giggling softly, sometimes staring at the strange woman with curiosity. Daniel, however, felt the weight of danger pressing on him. If the alien guards found them together, they would be punished. And yet something inside him refused to let her go. When morning came, the storm ended. Pale sunlight broke through the cracked roof, casting a glow on her face. Daniel finally spoke. "You didn't tell me your name?" The woman hesitated. For a long moment she kept her lips shut. Then in a low voice she whispered, "My name no longer matters. My people erased it." Daniel frowned. "That can't be true. Everyone has a name." Her eyes flickered with pain. "Not when you are an outcast. I was judged, stripped of my honor, and thrown away. To them I am nothing." The girls looked at each other confused. Anna crawled closer and said softly, "You can still have a name with us. We don't care what they think." The alien woman's eyes widened. She looked at the child in shock, as if no one had ever spoken such simple kindness to her. Daniel's heart warmed, but he knew this moment was also dangerous. If he chose to let her walk away, she would vanish into the dark streets and likely die. If he chose to keep her, his daughters would be at risk. He thought about his wife. He thought about the long nights alone, trying to raise Anna and Lily without a mother. The girls needed love, comfort, and protection, things he alone could not give. Slowly, Daniel took a deep breath and spoke words he never thought he would say. "I need a mother for my daughters." "And you need shelter." The alien woman froze. Her head turned sharply toward him, her silver eyes glowing with shock. "What did you just say?" Daniel kept his voice steady, though his heart was racing. "You're alone. You have nowhere safe to go. I can't raise my daughters by myself forever. They need someone gentle, someone who will care for them. And I can see you are not as heartless as you want people to believe." Her hands trembled. You are proposing to me?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, I'm asking you to be part of our family. Not because I pity you, not because I'm desperate, but because I believe we can help each other." The woman's chest tightened. For years she had lived with rejection. Her own kind had turned their backs on her, calling her a traitor. Now a human, someone she was supposed to despise, was offering her something unthinkable. A place, a role, a family. She laughed bitterly, though her voice cracked. "Do you even understand what you're saying? If your people find out, they will reject you. If my people find out, they will hunt me down. Do you want your daughters to live in fear?" Daniel looked at Anna and Lily. They were sitting quietly, listening, their wide eyes full of hope. He placed a hand gently on Lily's head and whispered, "They already live in fear. Every day without a mother is another day they feel empty. If I have to fight the whole world to give them love again, then so be it." The alien woman's throat tightened. She had expected him to back away. She had expected fear. Instead, she saw fire in his eyes, fire she had not seen even in her strongest warriors. Anna, unable to stay quiet, whispered shyly, "Will you be our mom?" Those words pierced the woman's heart. Her breath caught in her chest. She turned away, hiding her tears. Her hands covered her face, trembling. No child had ever spoken to her with such trust. Silence filled the room again, broken only by the sound of her quiet sobs. Finally, she lowered her hands and looked at Daniel. "You are a foolish man," she whispered, "but perhaps a brave one." Before Daniel could answer, heavy footsteps echoed outside. Alien voices carried through the air. They were searching the district. The woman stiffened. Her kind would not stop until they dragged her back. or destroyed her for breaking their laws. Daniel quickly stood, pulling his daughters closer. "Stay behind me," he told them. The alien woman rose too, her eyes glowing faintly with fear and determination. "They know I'm here? If they find me with you, they'll punish your children as well." Daniel stepped closer, his voice low but strong. "Then let them try. You are with us now." The woman stared at him, caught between fear and hope. His words were like a shield, wrapping around her fragile heart. For the first time in years, she felt the possibility of belonging. The guards' shadows grew closer, their voices sharper. A choice had to be made. The woman clenched her fists, breathing hard. She looked at Daniel one last time. "If I say yes to you," she whispered, "there will be no turning back." Daniel's eyes never wavered. "I don't want to turn back." The girls pressed close to the woman's legs, unafraid. Their small hands touched her cloak as if to say, "You are already ours." The alien woman's body trembled. She closed her eyes, then nodded slowly. "Then, I accept." At that moment, the door rattled. The guards were outside. Danger was already upon them. But within the broken shelter, something powerful had been born. A bond stronger than fear, and with it a fragile new family. The night after the proposal was uneasy. Daniel, his daughters, and the alien woman, still unnamed, sat in silence inside their hidden shelter. Outside, alien guards continued their search. Every sound, every shadow felt dangerous. Yet inside, another storm brewed, not of rain, but of memory. The alien woman sat near the wall, her knees pulled close to her chest. Her silver eyes stared at the floor, but her mind was far away. Daniel watched her carefully. He could see she carried heavy scars, not the kind the eyes could see, but the kind the heart never healed from. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. "If we are to be a family, I want to know who you are. What they did to you." The woman's eyes lifted, glowing faintly in the dim light. For a long time she said nothing. Her lips trembled, and then with a deep breath she began. "I was born into a proud house," she said softly. "My people called us the Keepers of Flame. We were guardians of tradition, protectors of law. My father was a leader, my mother a healer. From childhood I was taught to honor rules above all things." Her voice grew sharp, bitter. "But I broke them." The girls leaned closer, their innocent curiosity pulling them into her story. Anna whispered, "Why?" The woman's face tightened. "Because rules can be cruel. Because tradition can kill." Daniel's brow furrowed. "What happened?" She closed her eyes, reliving the memory she had tried to bury. There was a boy, only 12. He had stolen food. By our law, thieves must lose their hands. The council ordered it. I was young, but I could not watch. I begged them to show mercy. I said, "He is hungry, not evil." But they did not listen. Her hand shook as she spoke. When the guards raised the blade, I stopped them. I shielded the boy. "I defied the law," Lily gasped. "You saved him?" The woman nodded slowly. "Yes, I saved him. But in that moment I became a traitor. My people dragged me before the council. My own father turned his face from me. My mother wept but said nothing. They declared me unworthy of my family's name. They stripped me of honor, erased me from the records, and cast me into the streets. I was no one." Silence fell heavy in the shelter. The rain outside had stopped, but the sound of dripping water echoed like tears. Daniel felt anger stir within him. "You were punished for saving a child?" The woman's lips curved in a sad smile. Yes, in their eyes mercy was weakness. "I was told I dishonored generations. To them I am worse than a thief. I am a shame." Her eyes burned as she looked at Daniel. "Do you understand now? This is who you've asked to be a mother for your daughters. An outcast. A failure. If you keep me, you will share my curse." For a moment, Daniel said nothing. He studied her carefully. He saw the pain carved into every word, but also the strength that still flickered beneath. His daughters, however, reacted differently. Anna crawled closer to the woman, her small hand reaching out. "You are not a failure. You saved someone. That makes you good." The alien woman's chest tightened. She tried to pull back, but Anna's hand held firm. Then Lily added softly, "If you saved him, maybe you can save us too." Tears welled in the woman's eyes. No words from her own kind had ever touched her heart like the whispers of these children. Her throat ached. She had built walls around herself for years, but now those walls cracked. Daniel leaned forward, his voice calm but strong. "You were not wrong to show mercy. You were right. If your people cannot see that, then they are blind." And I don't care about curses. My daughters see you as someone kind. That is all that matters. The woman shook her head slowly, torn between belief and doubt. You don't understand. My people will never forgive me. They will come after me and you. Are you ready to risk your daughters' lives for me? Daniel's gaze did not falter. I've already risked everything by coming here. I'll risk more if it means giving them a chance at love again. The woman's lips parted, but no sound came. Her heart pounded in her chest. For years she had been called worthless, cursed and unworthy. Yet here was a human man with nothing to gain, who looked at her as if she still had value. The girls leaned against her, their small warmth pressing into her cold cloak. She froze, her breath catching, as their tiny hands clung to her arm. It was a simple gesture, but to her it felt like being pulled out of darkness. Finally, her tears spilled. She did not sob loudly, only bowed her head as silent drops fell onto her knees. For the first time since her exile, she allowed herself to feel the pain and the fragile hope breaking through it. Daniel spoke softly, almost like a vow. Whatever your past is, it doesn't matter now. With us, you are not an outcast. You are needed. The woman lifted her eyes, shining with both sorrow and wonder. She whispered almost too quietly to hear. Maybe I can belong again. Outside, the alien guards' voices grew distant, fading into the night. Inside the shelter, something new was born. Not just survival. Not just a fragile agreement, but the beginning of trust. For the first time, the alien woman allowed herself to imagine a future, not as an outcast, but as part of a family. And for Daniel and his daughters, the empty hole left by loss began, slowly, to fill. The days that followed were quiet but uncertain. Daniel and his daughters no longer walked the streets alone. The alien woman, once shunned and nameless, now moved with them. She walked carefully, always keeping her hood low to avoid the guards' eyes. Her steps were hesitant, as though each moment she feared the world would collapse beneath her. For Anna and Lily, however, she was no longer a stranger. The children began to treat her with innocent curiosity. They asked questions, shared stories, and sometimes laughed at her confusion when she did not understand human customs. Slowly, what began as fear turned into something warmer. One morning, as Daniel tried to cook a small breakfast from the little food they had, Anna whispered to the alien woman, "Do you know how to cook?" The woman tilted her head, puzzled. "Cook?" "Yes," Lily chimed in, "like Daddy does." "Food that smells nice." The alien woman hesitated. In her people's society, cooking was not a duty of pride, it was work for servants. But she saw the girl's eager eyes and found herself nodding. "I can try." Daniel handed her a small pot with hesitation. "It's simple," he said. "Boil the water, add these grains, stir slowly." Her silver hands shook slightly as she held the spoon. The girls crowded around, watching closely. When the smell began to rise, their eyes widened in delight. For the first time, the alien woman felt something she had not in years: approval. The girls clapped when she finished. "It tastes better when you make it," Anna exclaimed. Her lips curved in the faintest smile. She had not smiled in a very long time. As days passed, more little moments wove threads between them. When the girls quarreled over a toy, the woman stepped in, her voice calm but firm, settling the fight. When Lily scraped her knee, the woman tore a piece of her own cloak to bind the wound, her hands surprisingly gentle. Daniel noticed these things. He watched how his daughters leaned against her without fear, how their small hands reached for hers. Each moment chipped away at the wall between them. One night, as they sat near a small fire, Anna leaned sleepily against the woman and whispered, "Good night, Mom." The words struck like thunder. The alien woman froze, her chest tightening, her throat burning. She looked at Daniel in panic, unsure what to do. But Daniel only met her gaze with quiet understanding. He said nothing, only gave a small nod. When Anna drifted to sleep, the woman whispered, almost trembling, "I am not their mother." Daniel replied softly, "Maybe not by blood, but love makes family too." The woman turned away, but her eyes glistened. She had spent years believing she was unworthy of love, and yet here, two small humans had given her the title she never dared to dream of. But peace did not last long. Shadow still lingered. One evening, as they searched for food in the lower markets, a group of alien children pointed at her and laughed cruelly. "Look, the traitor walks with humans." One shouted, "She has no name, no house." Another mocked. The alien woman lowered her head, her hands trembling. Old shame returned like a blade to her chest. She wanted to run, to disappear, but before she could, Anna stepped forward, her small voice ringing clear. She is not a traitor. She is our family. The mocking children fell silent for a moment, startled. Daniel quickly pulled Anna close, fearing trouble. But inside, his heart swelled with pride. His daughters were not only learning courage, they were giving it to the woman who needed it most. That night, the alien woman sat alone, staring at the stars. Daniel approached quietly. "You protected my daughters," he said. She shook her head. "No, they protected me." Daniel sat beside her. "Maybe that's what family does. We protect each other." For the first time, she did not argue. She simply let his words sink deep into her heart. As more days passed, her presence became natural. She began to hum strange alien songs as the girls played. She taught them small phrases in her forgotten language, and they laughed at the sounds. Daniel, watching them, felt something he had not in years, hope, yet danger never left. Rumors spread quickly through the district. Whispers of a human man sheltering an outcast alien woman reached the ears of patrols. Some said she was betraying her kind again. Others said Daniel had gone mad. One evening, as they returned to their small shelter, Daniel noticed fresh markings on the walls, symbols of warning scratched deep. He understood their meaning. They were being watched. When he told the woman, her silver eyes darkened. "They will come for me," she said, "and when they do, they will not spare you." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Then let them come. They'll find us standing together." The alien woman stared at him, her heart torn between fear and a strange, growing faith. For years she had walked in darkness, unwanted, unloved. But now, in this fragile human family, she had found light. The bonds were forming, fragile yet powerful. Bonds that could heal wounds or break under the weight of enemies. And as the stars burned above, each of them felt the truth. Their story was only beginning. The fragile peace did not last long. Every step Daniel and his small family took through the district was watched. Whispers grew louder, shadows followed them at every corner. The alien woman could feel it. Her people had not forgotten her. And now she had given them another reason to hate her. She had chosen to walk beside a human. One evening, as the sun set behind broken towers, Daniel led his daughters back to their shelter. The air felt heavier than usual. Even the girls noticed the silence. Lily tugged on his hand. "Daddy, why does it feel scary tonight?" Daniel gave her a gentle smile, but his heart was restless. He knew something was coming. When they reached the shelter, the alien woman was already waiting. Her silver eyes glowed faintly, her expression sharp. "They are near," she whispered. "I can feel them." Before Daniel could ask, heavy boots echoed outside. The sound of alien voices filled the air. The guards had come. Anna gasped, clinging to the woman's cloak. "They found us." Daniel's body tensed. He stood in front of his daughters, shielding them. The alien woman, however, stepped forward. Her face was calm, but inside her chest her heart pounded like thunder. The door burst open. 3 alien patrolmen entered, their armor gleaming. Their leader, tall and cold, sneered as his gaze fell on her. "So it is true," he said. "The outcast hides with a human." The woman lowered her head, but her voice did not shake. "Leave them out of this." "I chose to stay with them." The guard's eyes narrowed. "You shame us again. First you defied the council. Now you taint yourself with humans. You are nothing." Daniel stepped forward, his fists clenched. "She is not nothing. She is part of my family." The guards turned their eyes to him, their expressions twisting in disgust. "A human dares to speak? Do you not understand what she is? She is a stain. To protect her is to share her shame." Daniel's voice grew louder. "I don't care about your laws or your shame. My daughters need her. And I will fight anyone who tries to take her away." The alien woman's eyes widened. She had expected him to remain silent, to hide. Instead, he stood tall, his body trembling but his spirit unbroken. The guards laughed cruelly. "You, a simple human? Do you think you can stand against us?" Daniel did not move. His daughters clung to his back, their small voices whispering, "Daddy, please don't let them take her." The alien woman stepped beside him, her silver eyes burning now with fire. "If you want to harm them," she said, her voice sharp as steel, "you must go through me first." The guards' smiles faded. Their leader growled, "Then so be it. The council will hear of this, and when they do, you will all suffer." With that, they turned and left, their heavy boots pounding into the night. but their threat hung heavy in the air like a blade waiting to fall. The shelter was quiet again, but the silence was no comfort. Anna and Lily clung to the alien woman, tears in their eyes. "Will they come back?" Lily asked softly. The woman stroked her hair gently, surprising even herself with the tenderness of the gesture. "Yes," she admitted. "They will. But I will not let them hurt you." Daniel sat down heavily, his face stern. "They won't stop. Not until they break us apart." The woman looked at him, her heart torn. "You should let me go. If I leave, they may spare you and your daughters." Daniel shook his head firmly. "No, we're in this together. I told you before, I will not turn back." Her throat tightened. For years, no one had chosen her. Now, this man and his children stood beside her, even when the whole world turned against them. That night, as the girls fell asleep, the woman sat alone, staring at the flickering fire. In her chest, a war raged. She had been abandoned by her own blood, but here, she had found something worth more than honor. She whispered to herself too softly for Daniel to hear, "I will protect them, even if it cost me everything." The next morning, the district buzzed with rumors. Some aliens whispered that the Outcast had betrayed her kind again. Others claimed she had bewitched the human. The council, furious at the insult, began to plan a punishment that would make an example of her. But Daniel and his daughters knew nothing of politics. They only knew that their fragile family was under threat. When Daniel looked at the woman, he saw not just an outcast, but a protector. Someone who, despite her pain, was ready to fight for them. And when she looked at his daughters, she saw something she had long thought impossible. Hope. The rising threat was real, and it was coming closer with every heartbeat. But within their small shelter, courage was rising too, and soon the two forces would collide. The warning from the guards was not an empty threat. Days later, as night fell over the district, danger arrived like a storm. Daniel and his daughters were asleep inside their small shelter, the fire burning low. The alien woman sat awake, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She had not slept in days. Fear pressed against her chest, but stronger than fear was her vow. "I will protect them." Suddenly, a noise cut through the silence. The sound of armored boots. Many boots. Her heart raced. They were here. The woman rushed to Daniel, shaking him awake. "They've come!" Daniel sat up quickly, pulling his daughters close. The girls woke in confusion, their little eyes wide with terror. Outside, heavy voices barked orders. The shelter door rattled violently. "Open it!" a guard shouted. Daniel looked at the alien woman. "Take the girls. Hide in the back," but she shook her head. "No, they are not after you. They are after me. If I run, they will hunt you all." The door slammed open. A flood of alien guards entered, their weapons glowing faintly. Their leader pointed at her. "Outcast, your crimes end tonight, and the human filth who protects you will share your fate." Anna and Lily screamed, clutching Daniel's arms. Daniel stood in front of them, trembling but firm. "Stay away from my daughters." The guards advanced. The alien woman stepped forward suddenly, her cloak falling to the ground. Her silver skin shimmered in the firelight, her posture tall and defiant. "I am the one you want." "Leave them," the leader sneered. "You dare give orders? You are nothing." But before he could strike, she unleashed a cry, a sound that shook the walls. Her eyes blazed bright, her body glowing with raw energy she had long suppressed. The guards faltered for a moment, stunned. Daniel had never seen her like this. For the first time, she was not a broken outcast. She was powerful, terrifying even. The guards attacked. The clash was brutal. She moved swiftly, blocking blows, striking back with desperate strength. But there were too many of them. A blade cut across her arm, another struck her shoulder. She staggered, blood shimmering like liquid silver. "Mom!" Anna cried out without thinking. The woman froze for a second, the word echoing inside her like fire. Then she pushed harder, fighting with a strength she did not know she still had. But the leader raised his weapon toward the girls. Daniel leapt in front of them, unarmed, ready to sacrifice himself. The alien woman saw it, and in that instant she made her choice. With a cry, she threw herself between them and the blade. The weapon struck her side, piercing deep. Pain exploded through her body, but she did not fall. She stood firm, shielding the girls with her own body. "Run!" she screamed at Daniel. "Take them and run." Daniel's eyes widened with horror. "No, I won't leave you." Blood dripped from her wound, but her voice was fierce. "You gave me a family. Let me give you my life." The guards pressed forward, but something unexpected happened. The daughters clung to her, refusing to let go. Their small voices filled the air. "Don't hurt her. She's our mother." The words rang louder than any weapon. The guards hesitated, confused by the children's cries. Even hardened soldiers could not ignore the sound of innocence defending an outcast. Daniel seized the moment. He grabbed a broken piece of wood and swung it at the guards, his courage blazing. "Stay away from my family," he roared. The battle turned chaotic. The woman, though wounded, fought with renewed fury. Daniel struck with desperate strength. And the girls' voices kept echoing, their cries piercing through the night. Finally, the guards retreated, dragging their injured leader away. "This is not over," he snarled. "You will all pay." When silence returned, the woman collapsed, blood staining her cloak. Daniel caught her in his arms, his face pale with fear. "No, stay with me," he begged. "Don't leave us." The daughters pressed close, tears streaming down their faces. "Please, Mom, don't go." Her silver eyes flickered, pain etched across her face. But in their tears she saw something she had longed for all her life. "Love, I am not worthy," she whispered weakly. Daniel shook his head fiercely. "You are. You've given more than anyone ever could." The woman's trembling hand touched Anna's cheek. "Don't cry, little one. Even if I fall, my heart stays with you." Tears blurred Daniel's vision. He pressed his forehead against hers, whispering, "You're not alone anymore. Not now, not ever." The night was heavy with silence again, but it was no longer the silence of despair. It was the silence after sacrifice, the silence of a bond that had been sealed with blood and love. The alien woman had given everything to protect them. And in that act, she was no longer an outcast. She was a mother. But as the fire burned low and shadows shifted outside, one truth remained. The threat had not ended. The council would return stronger and angrier, and the greatest test of their fragile family was yet to come. The shelter was quiet except for the crackle of dying fire. Daniel sat on the ground, cradling the alien woman against his chest. Her wound had been bound with strips of cloth, but the blood still seeped through. Anna and Lily stayed close, their small hands holding hers tightly as if their grip alone could keep her alive. The alien woman's silver eyes fluttered open. She saw Daniel's face, tired, covered in dirt and worry. She saw the girl's tear-streaked cheeks, and for the first time since she had been cast out, she did not feel alone. "You should have let me go," she whispered weakly. Daniel shook his head firmly. "I told you before. We are a family now. Families don't let each other go." Her chest trembled. For years she had been told she was worthless, cursed, dishonorable. But in this small human family, she had been given a new truth. She was loved. The next day, the storm of whispers spread through the district. News of what had happened traveled fast. Many aliens sneered at the idea of an outcast standing beside a human, but others secretly began to question what they had always believed. How could a woman who sacrificed her life to protect children be called dishonorable? How could a human man, weak in their eyes, fight with such strength and courage for someone not his own? The questions spread like sparks across dry wood. And soon the council could no longer ignore it. A week later, the summons came. Daniel, his daughters, and the alien woman were ordered to stand before the council. The journey to the Great Hall was heavy with tension. Guards escorted them, their weapons ready, but the streets were filled with watchers. Some spit curses, others whispered prayers. Inside the hall, towering figures of alien leaders sat in judgment. Their cold eyes burned into the woman as she stood weak but tall beside Daniel. The head counselor rose. "You were cast out for defying the law, and now you have shamed us further, choosing to live with a human. You bring disgrace to your bloodline." The alien woman lowered her head, her voice steady. "Perhaps, but I would rather carry disgrace than let innocence suffer. I will never regret saving a child, and I will never regret protecting this family." Gasps rippled through the hall. Her words were bold, dangerous. Daniel stepped forward. His voice echoed, strong despite the fear pressing on him. "You call her a traitor, but I call her the bravest woman I've ever known. My daughters call her mother. She bled to protect them. What greater honor is there?" The council murmured in outrage, but then a small trembling voice cut through the noise. "Please don't take her away," Anna cried, stepping forward. "She's our mom now," Lily joined in, her little voice shaking but loud. "We love her. She loves us." The entire hall fell silent. The counselors stared at the children. Even the harshest warriors could not speak against such innocence. The alien woman's eyes filled with tears. She had spent years hiding from shame, believing she had no place in the world. But in that moment, with two little girls defending her before the council, she realized something powerful. She had already been accepted where it mattered most. The head counselor's expression softened, though his voice remained stern. You have broken laws that cannot be undone, but you have shown a strength we cannot ignore. Mercy, courage, sacrifice, these are also the values of our people, though we have forgotten them. He paused, looking at her with measured eyes. You are no longer an outcast. You are free to choose your path. Gasps echoed again. The woman's knees nearly gave way. She had not expected forgiveness. She looked at Daniel, at the girls, then back at the council. My path is with them, she said firmly. With my family. The council did not object. The decision was made. When they left the hall, the streets were filled with murmurs. Some still glared, but others bowed their heads in quiet respect. For the first time, the alien woman walked without lowering her hood. For the first time, she walked in the open not as an outcast, but as someone seen. That night, back at their small home, the fire burned brighter. Daniel sat beside her, his arm resting gently around her shoulders. The girls leaned against her, their laughter filling the room. She looked at them, her heart swelling. She whispered, almost to herself, I thought I would never belong. But now, I am home. Daniel met her eyes, his voice soft but strong. You were never worthless. You just needed someone to remind you. The girls, sleepy but smiling, curled against her. Anna whispered one last time before drifting off. Good night, Mom. The word no longer hurt. It healed. The alien woman, once nameless, once rejected, was now mother, protector, and beloved. And as the firelight glowed across their faces, Daniel knew one truth above all. They were no longer broken pieces of two different worlds. They were a family.